Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some updates and some rumors to go over today. So let's jump straight into the video. Starting off, we are kind of going back to the game Sunday against the Bears and talking about the fact that we kind of ran up the score, but did we do it in a disrespectful manner? So we did hang 52 points on the Chicago Bears this Sunday, falling just 3 points short actually of the tying the franchise record of points scored in a single game. They did set a franchise record with 8.8 yards per play though. So they record setting, pretty cool. But there was a moment in the fourth quarter where it felt like the Lions may have just been treating this game a little personally, and I don't blame them. It was against Ben Johnson. There was a lot of pressure going into this game, especially half of week one in the performance there was week one. There was a lot on this game. Already up 45-21 with only 8 minutes left, the Lions faced a 4th and goal from the Bears 4-yard line. A field goal would have pushed them up for a 27-point lead, or if you don't know, at least 4 scores. But instead, the Lions opted to just go for it, and Jared Goff hit Amon-Ra St. Brown for the duo's 3rd touchdown of the day, just racking up fantasy points for St. Brown. I love it. I love it. Was the decision a shot at the Bears head coach Ben Johnson, proving that they don't need him to score 50 points like they did last year? Or was it a shot around the league, letting everyone else know that the offense is still just as good and everyone shouldn't put their guard down? Or was this just part of the game and just not wanting to take the foot off the gas? We may not know for certain, but Ben Johnson did speak out after the game when he was questioned, and the former Lions offensive coordinator didn't take any sort of offense to the move. He said, quote, "What's he supposed to do? It's 4th and goal. What do you want him to do? He could have kicked the field goal, but they don't kick field goals. They go for it there. He was just doing what he was supposed to do. That's what he does." End quote. And if Johnson didn't take offense to it, I think there's nothing really to read into here. The Bears aren't the first team to have 50 points dropped on them by the Lions. It happened to the Titans and the Jags last year, and they almost certainly won't be the last team that this offense does to. I honestly think this one is just people trying to stir the pot, reporters trying to create a story here. And hey, I don't blame them. There is a lot here, right? The whole arc of Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, the rematch, or not the rematch, but just the rivalry now that there's going to be. They're creating a narrative here, and I think this was just part of it. But it's not like the Lions. This is like I was saying. This isn't like the first time the Lions have done this to a team. It just happens. If your team's gonna fall apart, we know now. Dan Campbell is not the kind of guy to take his foot off the gas. He's going to get his players the best possible outcome, and I think part of that problem is that then starters can get hurt, but we're going to talk about that in just a second. Overall, though, I don't think there's any real drama to read into here. I think Ben Johnson was obviously frustrated, but it wasn't because of the fact that we dropped 50 on him. I think it was the point that we just beat them so dominantly when he probably really wanted to come out and just show that he was going to rock and roll with his new team. That being said, though, we'll move on to our second topic. Let me know what you guys think on this. Am I not seeing it, or are the reporters reading too much into this one? We're gonna be talking about injury updates from this game. So we talked about a couple injuries last video, and we have some more info on those. So let's go straight into that. Starting with Davenport, Dan Campbell said we're still getting things looked at with that. We'll see where that's at for Monday. He will play. I don't know. It's a good question. I'm hoping it won't be too bad, but until we get a couple of these second opinions back, I won't know for sure. End quote. Davenport missed time in the first half with an ankle injury, and then he came back in, and then ended up getting injured with 9:33 left in the third quarter, right after he got his first sack on Caleb Williams for a loss of 8 yards. Then he goes out. I'm like, oh, come on. And I know a lot of us were waiting to see when it was going to happen. Hopefully it's not too serious. Hopefully we still got him, because we are going to need him against the Ravens. And they're on with our schedule being what it is. But yeah, second game. So if you guys had the over under for second game, there you go. That really sucks, but hopefully he comes back and he's all right. Hutch, Campbell said he's a little sore, but he's all right. Nothing to worry with Hutch. I know when we saw him, holding his leg, walking very gingerly to the sideline, a lot of us freaked out. I freaked out. I'm like, oh my gosh. I feel at this point, seeing anything wrong with Hutch is just going to cause my stomach to drop. After you see his leg wrap around another human's leg, you think the worst. So glad he's okay. Christian Mahogany, an important piece here. Mahogany actually left the game late in the second half. Campbell said, I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be all right. We'll see. He's another one we're checking out. So still day by day to day, we're going to have to see what's up with Christian Mahogany. But the way he played in that game, I would hope he comes back and continues to rock out on O-line. Seems whatever they got, what was wrong with them, he figured it out and they've got it all fixed up. So having a new guy come in at guard would not be very good for us if they just figured it out. Brian Branch, this was the one that scared me. And Lions fans, including myself, have a reason to kind of be a little mad at the Lions organization here. For the reason he got hurt in the first place, and this is kind of talking about the last topic we were on. It could be argued that Branch and the defensive starters should have already been pulled from the game when we were up that much, up 45-14. With that big lead, the Lions starters should have been gone. They just really should have been. And it's cool to watch, you put your foot on the gas and to have a full game of watching the starters. Obviously, it makes it more entertaining for us. But if people get hurt in garbage time, we're going to regret the heck out of that. On the other hand, Dan Campbell likes keeping his players in with a lead this early in the season. It makes sense. And, with the whole whatever, we didn't play preseason, so this is kind of our extra time to feel the motion, to get the reps in on a real game. I get it. But then it's like, just have them play a little bit in the preseason. Like then, because that now we're in the regular season, and now it's like we're playing week to week. We can't really deal with the injuries. I don't know. In this case, a significant injury to Branch was avoided, thankfully. Lions fans are grateful for this, including me. But if Branch had to miss significant time, and I think I've talked about this a lot, especially with our safety situation, the safety room is pretty thin. Because of other injuries and just we don't have any amazing backups, right? Currently, the players who would be playing in Branch's place are veterans Avonte Maddox, who's fine, and Rock Ya-Sin, who is okay, and neither come close to matching the abilities of Brian Branch. Rock Ya-Sin in particular, because he doesn't even play safety, but during camp, they saw he was good enough to play safety, and now they just have him there because they were so thin at the position. So it's definitely a tough one. Definitely something to think about for the head coaching or for the coaching staff here. Maybe just pull him out a little sooner. Then you don't got to give me a heart attack when I see him hurt in garbage time. Just saying. Well, let me know what you guys think about that one. That last opinion there. You keep him in, foot on the gas or not. Is it better for the conditioning? I guess that's like the whole excuse, the reason, right? I don't know. We're going to move on to our third topic of the day. We are just going to be talking about the connection between Goff and St. Brown. And this topic for me is kind of going back to the question of, is Goff good enough without a coordinator? Without a good coordinator, is Goff anything? And I think this game kind of proved it. Is Jared Goff a good player without a great coordinator? Putting a beat down like that on Ben Johnson, your former coordinator, during your first home game of the season definitely points to yes, right? Goff had 5 passing touchdowns. A couple were long bombs. Some were surgically placed in the red zone, right? It just seems the harder things get for Goff, right? Losing your coordinator, getting traded to Detroit, right? It's just like the harder things get for this guy, the better he plays. He just loves adversity. And to me, that is super exciting. So what has been making him so good? Well, obviously we've talked about, the adversity he's had to face and all that good stuff. But a big thing here is you see most quarterbacks in history, the greats, right? They have their guys. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, older when he was with Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson, right? Marvin Harrison, not Jr., Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning. You see what I'm saying here, right? And I think for this case, it's Goff and St. Brown. I think they are always locked in when they play together. For example, St. Brown had 9 receptions for 115 yards, 12.8 on average, and 3 touchdowns that added 2, not to mention the 2 rushes for 7 yards, for a total of 122 scrimmage yards this past Sunday, becoming the first Lions player since Calvin Johnson in 2010 to produce a game with at least 100 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. I mean, there you go. That's a good piece of evidence right there. Campbell said it's an art form watching St. Brown and Goff work. Quote, it's awesome to watch. They have so much support with each other. They trust each other immensely, end quote. Campbell said of the duo, quote, they want the way that he runs his routes. He's so crisp. He's so detailed. It helps him anticipate the throws, and they just have so much time on task. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and St. Brown knows exactly where the ball is going to go before he's out of the break. They've just worked together for so long. We have tremendous amount of trust in those two players. End quote. Goff then completed 23 of 28 passes with an 82.1% completion rate for 334 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions for a 156 passer rating against the Bears Sunday. So obviously we talked about those stats in the last video, but I'm just reiterating the fact that he's no system quarterback. This needs to be squashed. He's not a system quarterback. Everyone's thinking, oh, John Morton against when we played against Green Bay. Oh, this is it. We're seeing Goff. He's finally cracking, finally seeing the weaknesses. And then all of a sudden it changed because we got the O-line on the right page and it was allowing plays to happen downfield. Guys, Goff is an elite pocket passing quarterback. And he just continues to prove it, even when the odds continue to not be so much in his favor, according to analysts and stats on ESPN. I'm just saying, nobody's giving Goff the credit he deserves, the flowers he deserves, except diehard Lions fans, obviously. And so there's some people on ESPN who do see what he's doing, but I feel like people just don't give him the love he deserves. And now he's got a guy like St. Brown, and these are the kind of connections that make Super Bowl winning teams, right? If it's going to be anyone, it's going to be those two who take us, guys. Just saying. With that being said, I am going to move on to our fourth and final topic, but let me know what you guys think about this one. Is Goff and St. Brown, are they going to end up being one of this like generation's all-time duos, like how we kind of know those from the past? Let me know. I want to know what you guys think. Leave it in the comments down below. We're going to move to our fourth topic with a possible trade. Hey, that gives Detroit depth. So with the events that have happened in the last month or so, it has changed things up in Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys face a decision about the future of former first-round pick for the second straight week. Mazi Smith was among the team's inactive players during the team's win over the New York Giants, and it might be time for the Cowboys to explore different options for the former first-round pick, right? So maybe some new scenery from Smith. But it's hard to imagine that the former first-rounder has a sizable trade market after the limited amount of stuff we've seen from him. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox has Smith among the top 10 players on the NFL trade block, but the analyst labels Detroit and the Pittsburgh Steelers as the most top landing spots for Smith. So what's making it the potential best possible way to go for the Lions for the former number 26 pick in the NFL in the 2023 NFL draft? Well, Bleacher Report estimates that Smith's trade value is about a 2026 conditional 6th round pick, and given these projections, a hypothetical trade pitch with the Cowboys for a net 6th rounder while the Lions get Smith does make sense. And why? Well, let's look at his stats. In 2024, the last time we saw good stuff from him, he had 41 total tackles, 22 were solo, 19 were assisted. He had a sack, making that 2 sacks in his career in the NFL, and he did not have an interception. So, but those are fine stats, right? 1 sack isn't wowing me, but like it's kind of saying he's a player with a high ceiling. He just needs to get that development, and it was just a situation where it didn't work out in Dallas. We have seen before a player go somewhere different and just is the player everyone thought they were going to be. Saquon Barkley leaving New York, right? If he now we see him get out of Dallas, maybe go to the Lions, where we're a lot more of a confident team right now, and we could use the help at defensive tackle. Maybe we see a huge flip from this guy, and I definitely think it's something to look for, right? I think Detroit would be banking on the idea that Smith is still has the upside that they're hoping he could have, and that could possibly be unlocked by a change of scenery. But Smith is just 1 season removed from starting all 17 games for Dallas in 2024. It would be a low-risk move for Detroit, ultimately. Smith was viewed as a raw prospect coming out of college, and people always expected more for him, but he needed time to develop. He's still 6'3", 337 pounds, and he was a first-round pick with tremendous amount of untapped potential. He's just a guy that needs to be worked on and kind of harnessed, but he's one of these guys where high ceiling, you take a risk on him, right? And with Kenny Clark, now manning the middle of their defense, it just seems like the Cowboys feel more comfortable in that position, and they feel more comfortable to move on from Smith, right? Smith's 4-year, $13.2 million rookie contract is slated to run through 2026, but it remains to be seen if the Cowboys can even get anything from him in return. And defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus even pointed to the consistency of Smith being the main con here, the reason why he's not getting snaps. So we see what the possible risks are. We see what the upside is. I think while depth is defense and the defensive line is kind of a struggle for us right now, especially after we saw our guys struggle to get to the quarterback for the whole first half this past Sunday. McNeil's still out. I don't think this is a bad idea to go and grab this guy, especially if we're just going to give up something like a 6th-round pick. I think there's higher upside, and the risk is on our side in this favor. I think this is a good one. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this one. With that being said, we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video, tell me your opinions on that trade rumor. Yay, nay, what are the cons, what are the pros? And also tell me what you guys think about Goff and St. Brown, and if they are going to be one of the all-time great duos. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell so you never miss a video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video.